Welcome to the third ever episode of the Passport Chronicles podcast. I'm here with Tejas.
Hello.
And let's get into it. So Tejas, as you told me before, you're from India. So which part of India are you from?
South India, a state called Tamil Nadu.
How do you spell that?
Tamilnadu. It's a state in southern India.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandparents used to live in Chennai, which is the capital of that state.
I heard that's a big city, right?
It's pretty bustling.
Okay.
Very crowded.
We'll pull the mic a little bit closer.
Sure.
Okay. And so you're from South India. And you told me before, South India has a lot of famous foods, right?
It has a lot of popular foods like idlis and dosas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had dosa together. So if you could describe dosa to someone that's never tried it, how would you describe dosa?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, I would say it's shaped like a tortilla in that it's circle shaped, but the composition is very different. It's made from a rice-like batter.
Oh, I didn't know that. Very interesting.
Yeah. So you just lay it out on a frying pan with oil and let it heat up for a few minutes and then flip it a bit like a pancake. And then it should be crisp and tasty if all goes well.
Yeah, I do like dosa. It kind of reminds me of like a crispy crepe.
A crispy crepe?
A crepe like from France? Like the thin pancakes, yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so when you eat dosa, what do you usually like to put inside?
There's a bunch of possible sauces or toppings.
Mm-hmm.
Normally people have it with chutney.
Okay.
Or there's another powder that I don't know the English name of. It's called molahapuri. It's colored orange.
Isn't that the spicy one?
Yeah, it's very spicy, so it's not for the faint of heart.
Mm-hmm.
People normally mix it with oil and have it on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Another popular thing to dip it in is sambar.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two main things that people have dosa with.
Okay. And how about you? Do you like spicy food? Because you know that I love spicy food.
Yeah, I love spicy food.
Okay.
I have a very high tolerance for spice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as high as yours, but I try.
Yeah, it's funny that he mentioned that because we actually went to an Indian restaurant and I said, make it as spicy as possible. And then I think I said it wasn't spicy enough, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. And the owners of the restaurant were pretty shocked that someone had done that for the first time.
Yeah. When I say the word India, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Elephants?
Yes, it is the same for me as well. I do love elephants, yeah.
Great minds think alike.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so when you go to India, is it common to see elephants?
Not really. I don't know why it comes to mind. I think
in
certain jungle resorts that I've been to with my family, I've seen elephants.
Wait, they have elephants at the resort?
Yeah.
Whoa, what do they do there?
Sometimes they're in the wild. Sometimes they're being ridden by people. You can take rides on elephants. And yeah, they're pretty massive. So as you can imagine, they're daunting, but they're friendly.
How big would you say they are?
Very big.
Would you say like taller than yourself?
Much taller, yeah. They would dwarf me in comparison.
Interesting. So they're a lot bigger than the Thai elephants because when I was in Thailand, Thai elephants are about the same size as I am, so around 6 feet.
Even the adult ones were the same size as you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because the ones in India are maybe more than twice my size, I would say.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, is there monkeys in India?
Oh, plenty.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, there are certain resorts that we've driven up to, and then like 2 or 3 miles out from our destination, we'll see the roads just filled with monkeys trying to jump on top of the car.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Would you say these monkeys are friendly, or are they to be avoided?
They're friendly. I haven't had any terrible exposure to them.
Okay.
I think they should be more afraid of me.
Why would a monkey be afraid of you?
Oh, because I'm more of a monkey than they are.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if someone was going to go to India for the first time, which part of India do you think they should go to?
I mean, I have never really been to the north. I think I might have been to a few northern states, but my primary exposure to the country is the south part.
Okay.
So I would say Kerala. That's a very beautiful state. It's neighboring Tamil Nadu, which is my home state.
Okay.
And there's a ton of greenery, and many people refer to Kerala as God's own country.
Oh, interesting.
Due to the sheer amount of natural beauty and untouched and pristine landscape.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. In fact, last summer I went with my family to this resort that I'm blanking on the name of. Let's see if I can remember it. It had a French name. Au revoir.
A French name in India, interesting.
Yeah, I think that resort was designed for outsiders and tourists.
Okay.
It was called Au revoir, which means "See you soon" in French.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
yeah, it was located in the middle of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by gorgeous mountains,
Okay.
and the weather was very cool,
Oh, nice.
not sunny and humid like the rest.
So would you say this place kind of reminds you of Portland, where we currently are?
To an extent, yeah, at least
Oh, nice.
the weather during the days when we were there.
Mm-hmm. And so, how many states have you been to in India?
That's a good question. I know at least I've been to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala. I vaguely remember going to Maharashtra as a kid, so at least 4, but
Okay.
I might have been to more when I was very small and forgotten about it.
And so, of those 4, which one would you say is your favorite?
I would say Kerala, due to the
Okay.
nature and the greenery, like I mentioned. That's a big thing for me.
Okay. And I think you mentioned you lived there when you were younger. Isn't that correct?
That is right, yeah. I lived there
Okay.
from 2nd grade to 5th grade, so
Wow.
like the ages of 7 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was during my formative years, and I'm very thankful for that experience.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with my grandparents and other extended family, and overall, I'm very thankful that I got to have those 3 years there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, how would you say school is different in India compared to America?
Yeah, they are very different in meaningful ways. I would say that the curriculum for the lower levels was a lot more advanced in the Indian schools.
Interesting.
Like I felt more challenged there in comparison to my experience in kindergarten and 1st grade, which is of course very young, so it may not be like a extendable thing. But I would say that the method of learning over there is a lot more based on memorization. And for example, for learning new languages like Hindi or Tamil, they would have us copy down sentences over and over again without explaining to us what the meaning was. And
Oh, I see.
that was one of the drawbacks I saw in the education system there.
I've heard that it's very common in Asia as a whole, where it's all about like pure memorization or cram learning or going to take a night school and things like that.
Yeah, that's very accurate. Like the teachers would often not focus on explaining and helping us understand, but rather just helping us memorize facts that we didn't truly comprehend.
Yeah, that is very interesting. So now that you're an adult, how often do you go back to India?
Every 2 years or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like my grandparents live there, and so do many of our cousins. In fact, I went there with my family last August for a large extended family reunion. We went to Jungle Hut.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, we saw a bunch of wildlife there, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, very cool. So, since India has so many different states and so many different cultures, how many languages do you know?
I know Tamil reasonably well. I can understand it very well and speak it somewhat fluently and hold myself in a brief conversation. Whereas for Hindi, despite learning it for 3 years, I can read and write it, but I can't understand or speak it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So 1 and 1/4 languages is what I mean.
Okay. Very, very interesting. And so, as far as, like, let's say if I were to go to India, would I need to learn Hindi or could I just be fine with English, or what do you think?
I think you could probably get by with English.
Okay.
In certain remote areas or rural villages, it might be more difficult, but in general, I would say that the majority of people there speak at least some English.
Okay.
So you can get by asking for directions or asking the nearest dosa place. I'm sure they'll be able to help you out.
Very interesting. Okay. And India is also known for pollution. So, of the 4 states you went to, how was the pollution there?
Yeah, Kerala, I would say, is the least polluted.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because, it just tends to be more cleaner in my experience. Whereas I think Chennai, that's the city where I lived in for 1 year in Tamil Nadu, that was quite polluted. Like there would often be heavy rains, which would flood the streets.
Wow.
And like in the beaches especially, there's a lot of litter and pollution. People just dump wrappers or use stuff and don't take that much trouble to maintain the area.
Interesting. So it sounds to me like India is a lot less clean than other countries.
I would say that unfortunately that is true for now.
Do you think that would change in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's potential for any group of people to change if that becomes a goal.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anyone can improve their situation. I do think so. And what do you think now about India being the country that has the biggest population in the world?
Oh yeah, I think I don't have any profound thoughts on it.
Okay.
I mean, I can attest to the fact that many places are highly crowded and populated. So it doesn't surprise me that it's the most populated country.
Yeah, so one of the things I think of when I think of India is just like the I remember seeing these pictures of like a train with all of these people like even on top of the train. Is that something that you experienced in India?
I don't think I've experienced that specific thing, people getting
Okay.
on trains, but I do think I've seen people getting on buses.
Okay.
Like even after the bus leaves the stop, there might be people who jump on the back and hold on. So
Wow.
yeah, there's always people in a rush to get where they need to go.
Sounds
And
kind
if
of terrifying.
they've got to jump on a bus to get there, that's what they do.
And I think one of the things that makes India very unique is Hinduism. I honestly don't know a lot about Hinduism, so if someone were to get started with Hinduism, where do you think they should start?
I mean, I think they should know the three main gods,
Okay.
who are Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a bunch of mythology or stories they can read. And yeah, I think in general, the guiding force between Hinduism is the idea of karma, the idea that you're born again in your next life, and the circumstances of your next life depend on how good a person you are in your current life. So if you do a lot of good deeds, then you'll be rewarded, and if you do a lot of bad things, then you'll be punished in your next life.
Oh, very interesting. That kind of reminds me of Buddhism, because I think Buddhism has a lot to do with karma as well. And I think you told me that I think Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not very knowledgeable about that relationship, but
Okay.
I do know that the founder was someone from India named Siddhartha Gautama. And yeah, he was known as the Enlightened One.
Okay.
I don't know specifically about the relationship between the two religions.
Okay. So what about you? Do you have a favorite Hindu god?
I don't think I have one specific favorite, but
Okay.
I do remember enjoying reading books about Lord Krishna when I was a kid. He's one of the avatars of Vishnu, the preserver.
Okay. And so you said an avatar. What exactly is that?
Like the Lord Vishnu, he's reborn on Earth
Okay.
several times in the form of what we call avatars. And yeah, those avatars form the basis of a lot of the stories.
Okay. And so when it comes to Hinduism, is it viewed like Christianity, like this definitely happened, or is it more of the view of like these are just stories?
I think it's a mix of both.
Okay.
I think there are some people who take those stories to be true 100%, and then other people who believe they might have been embellished or exaggerated to an extent. And then I think the important thing is that regardless of whether they happened or not, there are valuable life lessons we can derive from those stories.
Oh, totally. I would definitely agree. Yeah. And so with Hinduism, is there like a book that you can read, like the Bible, for instance, or is it more of like these are like oral stories, and then over time they just got told down through generations?
Yeah, there are books like Bhagavad Gita is one of them.
Okay.
It's narrated by Krishna to Arjuna, who's one of the people who he was fighting alongside.
Okay.
Then there's the Ramayana, Mahabharata. So yeah, there's a bunch of books that you can pick up and read if you're interested in getting more into it.
Okay. And I've heard with India, there was also known about the caste system.
Yeah.
Is that still being used or not so much?
To an extent it is. I think
Okay.
most people in urban city centers care less about it, and then it's mainly practiced in rural villages.
Interesting.
And areas. But yeah, I think the majority of people don't pay attention to things like that, in my experience.
Do you know which caste you're from?
I'm from the Brahmin caste.
Isn't that one of the top ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that my ancestors used to be priests.
Did they ever say like why the caste system came to exist?
Yeah, I'm sure there is literature about that.
Okay.
I think it just came as a way to divide labor.
Oh, interesting.
And assign people responsibilities and tasks. Based on their birth. And yeah, that's just how it originated.
Okay. And so I am glad that it is going away, because I've heard in the past where it's like if someone's the lowest caste, like you don't even look at them or acknowledge them or something like that.
Yeah, that is true. Unfortunately, some people do take it to extreme levels and mistreat others based on their caste.
Okay.
But thankfully, you're right. It is going away, and hopefully within a few generations, people will stop being overly bothered by things like this.
And so for the caste system, can you ever go up in rank, or where you are is just where it stays forever?
Yeah, there's no changing it. Once you're born into a caste, that's what you remain in for your
So as a foreigner, what caste would I be?
That's a good question. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I think you would just be outside the system. You don't fall into any category.
Interesting. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if someone, if like they're the bottom caste, they can just say, all right, I'm leaving this system. Do you think that would work?
I don't think so, because like many people keep detailed records of this kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
So, like they would somehow be able to find out that the person who left and came back used to be from a certain caste.
Now I think about it, do you think that would be something that like you'd put on like a job resume, like I'm Brahmin caste, that's why you should hire me, or like if someone's from the bottom caste and they're like applying for, let's say, Google or something, they say, oh, we don't want you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are some people who do it, but
Okay.
the majority of people who I know would never do something like that.
And I've heard, as far as Hinduism, some people put like a red dot on their head. What does that mean?
That's called a Bindy. I think it's
Okay.
mainly women who do that.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just an article of clothing or decoration. I don't know if it has any deeper significance, but I could be wrong.
Okay. And then can you tell me about some Indian holidays? Because I've never heard of an Indian holiday.
Yeah, I mean, Diwali is a big one that's celebrated outside of India too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the festival of lights.
Oh, okay.
In which they burst firecrackers and engage in other similar festivities. There's another one called Holi, which is the festival of color.
Okay.
In which they take paint of all colors and dump it on each other.
Oh, I think I've seen that one. Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular one.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two main ones that come to mind.
Okay.
I know that in Kerala, the state I was talking about before, they have a festival called Onam.
Okay.
In which they have boat races.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I've never taken part in that one.
Okay.
But I have taken part in Holi and Diwali.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of good memories of my time in India celebrating those festivals.
Okay. And so, like, what times of year are those festivals?
Diwali is, I could be wrong about this, but I believe it's October or November.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the dates of the other two I mentioned.
And so the one with the paint, how does that work? Does everyone go to like a specific place? Or could I be walking on the street and someone just throws paint on me?
Oh no, you can't do that unless you want to get into trouble. Yeah, they have a designated area like a yard or a playground.
Okay.
And then people will just take buckets of color and then dump it on each other while wearing presumably outfits they don't need.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
And so out of those ones, which one would you say is your favorite Hindu holiday?
Diwali, I think, because I always had a good time playing with the firecrackers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have that here too?
I think there are certain people who do celebrate it here as well.
I think that'd be a fun experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You should try it.
Why not? If I'm invited, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
And then I've heard about arranged marriages in India. Is that still a thing?
Yeah. I mean, it used to be more strict, like the parents would force their children to get married to a certain person and they had no choice in the matter.
Really?
But these days it's a lot more relaxed, like the parents might introduce their child to someone else. And then, but yeah, it's not as intense or extreme as before. And
so what do you mean by forced? Like, are they captured and then like, you must be with this man, or how does that work? Yeah, I mean, no one in my family that I know of has had a forced marriage like that. Okay.
I don't know, but I think there would just be a lot of familial pressure and social pressure to do what the parents say.
Very interesting. Very interesting. What do you think about arranged marriages?
I think it's fine as long as everybody is agreeing to it and there's no coercion involved.
I will say this: dating in America is so bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it as like a last resort if I was single, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just as an American, the idea seems very strange.
Yeah.
And it's more of like, let's say your parents try and like, you're a guy and they set you up with like a girl who like, why would they choose her? Is it like the parents are friends, or do you think they'd just be a good match, or how does that work?
I think it depends partly on the cast.
Okay.
So like they would want to find someone who's from the same one. But then they would also check things like the time of the year in which they were born, because those can play a role in deciding who you're going to marry. But then, they might just look around the community trying to find like-minded people. And if they pick someone that way, then that's who it ends up being.
It's very interesting. And now I think about it, I remember you told me you were vegetarian. Is that common in India to be vegetarian?
I think it's fairly common, yeah.
Okay. And so have you just been vegetarian your whole life?
I mean, I'm technically not fully vegetarian. I do sometimes eat chicken.
Yeah.
And I've tried other meats as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised mostly vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
I only started experimenting with meat like around middle school or high school.
Okay.
And Yeah, like my diet is mainly vegetarian even these days.
Okay. And I've heard about cows being holy in India. Is there like a story behind that, or why is that the case?
Yeah, I'm sure there is a story. I just don't know of it.
Okay.
I do vaguely remember there being a god called Kamadhenu, who's the cow god or goddess, but I don't know enough about that to explain why.
Interesting. I have not heard about that one.
Yeah.
And so, if beef is holy, does that mean they don't eat beef in India?
I mean, some people do.
Okay.
But yeah, not everyone.
And if a cow is holy, do you still drink the milk from the cow, or do you just like leave the cow alone?
I think most people in India do drink milk.
Okay. But I've never heard of like pork at an Indian restaurant. Why is that?
I mean, I've never like been to a restaurant there and asked for pork, so
okay.
I don't think I could tell you.
Yeah, that's true. As a vegetarian, you just don't have any interest there.
It's really not on my radar.
Yeah, very interesting. Have you been to any islands in India?
Islands in India? No, there is a popular tourist destination called Goa. It's like the Hawaii of India, but I've not been there. I do have a family friend who is from there, though. Oh
wow, that sounds really nice. A trip to Goa. I can get behind that. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, mark your calendar for 2025.
And so I know that in the past, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh were all one territory, right?
Well, that's true, yeah.
What can you, how would you describe the differences between the three?
I think religion is a big one.
Okay.
To my knowledge, Bangladesh and Pakistan are primarily Islamic, so most people there are Muslim. Whereas in India, they're predominantly Hindu. So the religion is one of the main distinguishing factors between the three countries.
And then what about Sikhs? Because close to my hometown, there were a lot of Sikh people. Why don't they have their own country? Do you know about that?
I think there are some of them who are trying to separate from the rest of India, and it is a very contentious topic right now.
Okay.
I forget what they're trying to call it, but it's called the Khalistani movement.
Interesting.
But I don't think it's a very mainstream one, and most people don't expect them to be able to form their own territory.
Okay. And India is also known for Bollywood.
Yeah.
And so with the name Bollywood, where are most movies in India filmed?
I think in northern India.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of mountain ranges there with lots of wide open space.
Okay.
And yeah, many of the movies I enjoyed watching as a kid were shot there.
Okay. So if someone wanted to get into Bollywood movies, could you name a few Bollywood movies? Because I've never seen one. Yeah. What are some Bollywood movies you think people should get into or give a try?
Doom 2 was a really good one.
You said, what is it called?
Doom 2.
How do you spell that?
DHOOM.
DHOOM. Doom number 2.
Yeah.
Not number 1, but number 2.
I don't think I've watched number 1. I've just watched number 2. Yeah. If you're into action movies, that's a great one for you.
Okay, and so, is it is it chronological or is it a standalone?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't watched the first one, so I don't know whether it's chronological or standalone.
I think it'd be interesting if you watch number 1 and it totally changes how you feel about number 2.
That is very possible. I might watch number 1 now that you mentioned that. But yeah, Doom 2 has a famous actor named Hrithik Roshan, and I think he did a great job acting as the main character in that movie.
Okay, and what are some other Bollywood movies you think people should give a try?
There's a really good one called Drishyam.
How do you spell that?
I don't know, actually. Don't quote me, but I think it's DH.
Oh, don't worry if you're not sure.
Okay. It's like a mystery movie.
Okay.
And it's been translated to a bunch of different languages, but it's a very edge-of-your-seat kind of thriller.
Okay.
And I think, I watched the first one. It's a sequel. There's 1 and 2.
Okay.
I watched the first one with my family 2 or 3 times.
I'm starting to think you're a big sequel guy. Yeah, what else do you think people should know about India?
What should they know about India? I think the weather is a big difference from how it is here.
Oh, that's right. Most of India is really hot, right?
Yeah, very hot and humid. So yeah, if you ever do want to visit, then make sure that you bring a lot of half-sleeve clothes because otherwise you might burn up.
Do you think it's also hot in the north?
I think less so, most likely, but mainly in the south it's very hot.
Or what about Kerala? It seemed like it wasn't very hot there, right?
Okay, there it was a bit cooler.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Then also watch out for the insects, especially the mosquitoes.
Oh, okay, I did not know about that.
Yeah, because there are areas of the country where I've been where there's just droves and droves of mosquitoes, and if you don't have mosquito repellent, then they're going to notice your foreign blood and want to get as much of that as possible.
What do you think the mosquitoes thought about your blood, since you spent time in both countries?
I mean, it's mine, so it must be delicious.
All right, that's funny. All right, I think now it's finally time to talk about what we're wearing. Do you want to stand up and show the camera what we're wearing first? Yeah, take a look at these outfits. And I will say, we chose his outfits because I don't remember exactly why, but he told me a story about them, and they do seem quite interesting.
I don't think I had a specific story. These are just traditional Indian outfits.
Oh, okay.
They're referred to in my language as either veshtis or dhotis.
Okay.
And yeah, you just wrap them around your waist like a towel a bunch of times.
Okay.
And you can add a belt.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, pretty comfy.
Okay. All right, we can take a seat again.
Yeah.
And so for these traditional outfits, like, do they wear them just on a special occasion, or do some people wear them like every day?
I think these days they are primarily reserved for special occasions, like religious ceremonies or functions. Yeah, those are the main times that I've worn them, at least.
Mm-hmm. But like most people don't wear them every day. Or like if I had a business meeting in India, should I wear this? Or would
no.
like
I mean, maybe if it's like Veshti business, then maybe.
Okay. That's pretty funny. Or like if I had an Indian client in India for a business meeting, would they wear this?
Most likely not.
Okay.
I can't speak for every single one, but I would be very surprised.
So since you've gone back to India as an adult, have you done any dating in India?
No, I'm not.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Because I am curious about what dating is like in different countries.
Yeah, I mean, you can get Travel Mode or Bumble and give it a try if you want.
All right, that's a tip for the people, okay? Oh, can you tell us any stories about your time in India?
Stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have one that sticks out, but I do remember like having to chase down the school bus a bunch of times when I was in second grade.
Okay.
Because I would always wake up late and take too long to get ready, and then miss the bus as it came outside my apartment, and then have to chase it down in the traffic. So yeah, those were good times.
I think a lot of Americans can relate to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that in India most people live in an apartment, or would you say they live in a house?
Yeah, it's hard for me to make a generalization like that.
Okay.
I would say it's pretty split.
Mm-hmm. And so, are foreigners allowed to own land in India? Do you know about that?
To my knowledge, they are not. I think they have to have special permission.
Mm-hmm. And what about you? Do you have just an American citizenship, or are you dual citizen?
I'm just an American citizen.
Okay.
But I do have something called an OCI card, which stands for Overseas. I forget what the C and I stand for, but OCI card, and then it gives me some privileges and rights afforded to citizens.
All right, I'm gonna take a guess on OCI. Overseas Chutney Individual.
You got it.
Okay.
Slipped my mind.
Okay. A lot of people think about curry when they think about India. What would you say is your favorite Indian curry?
I like potato curry, which is called aloo curry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they boil or mash it and mix it with a lot of spices, then it's always a good snack.
Would you say Indian food is something that you can just make at home, or would you say it's best to just go to a restaurant?
I mean, if you do a good job cooking it, then of course, but I don't think I have done a good job and I've attempted to, so I prefer to just eat out.
I have my answer. I am never going to try and make Indian food. Yeah. I am a horrible chef. Absolutely horrible.
I mean, there are ready-made foods you can get, like pav bhaji or paneer or kofta, that you just heat in the microwave or on the stove. And then you can heat up the pav, which is bread, or the naan or chapatis on the stove as well, and just make it like that and eat it.
Yeah, I do like naan. Naan is very good.
Yeah, so if you get the ready-made ones, it's a lot easier than making it from scratch.
Okay. Very interesting. So is there like a state or province in India that's known for having like the best food?
I don't think so. I think you can get similar food wherever you go, but yeah, I've had good food in multiple places.
Do you have a favorite Indian restaurant that you've had since you're also from California? Do you have one for Portland and one for California?
Yeah, I think Sharavan Bhavan is a really good one.
Okay.
They give mostly South Indian food, but the dosas are super crisp and big and tasty. They make it shaped like a pyramid. And they
shaped like a pyramid?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Doused in oil.
Okay.
And a substance called ghee.
Yeah, I've heard about ghee.
Yeah, they give piping hot sambar and other toppings to dip it in. and that's the same item I get every time I go there. So yeah, if you're ever there, go to Sharavan above it.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I think they have branches of that restaurant in the U.S. too.
Okay. I think that's about it. Is there anything else you'd like to tell people, Tejas?
Namaste.
Namaste. What does that mean?
It means welcome.
Oh man,
I should be more confident about this, but I'm almost sure that means welcome.
All right. No, Namaste. Do they do this or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right.
That was episode 3. Thank you, Tejas. And everyone, go eat some good Indian food and have a nice day. And get a veggie as well. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
And have a nice day.